Okay, so did everyone get that first handout there? And I know some of the numbers are difficult to read. Let's see, are there any extras in there? Okay. So I'm gonna tell you what the numbers are because I know the copy's not great. The whole idea here with chipping is that if we get better at chipping, one, we get better at putting because we just left ourselves a short putt. But two, it takes pressure off your long game. And what I mean by that is then you don't have the pressure to hit the golf ball on the green every single time. Even though we still want to, but the pressure is kind of taken off because you're like, you know what, I'm a good chipper of the golf ball. I know what I'm doing. Okay? Yes. Yes. That's everyone's new mantra. I'm a good chipper. Alright? Yes. Okay. So this was pretty cool. I went through a Titleist ball fitting thing. Basically teaching me to help you with what golf ball to pick for you to play. Okay? But I thought this was a pretty cool visual. So on the left side there, that first pie there, it says if you shoot 70, okay, you're going to hit 14 drives, which on 18 holes, we probably have 4 par 3s. Okay, so if we subtract that out, we're probably hitting driver on 14 holes. This doesn't mean we're always hitting driver, but we might hit 3-wood or whatever. So you're going to have 14 drives, okay? And then the bigger wedge there, it says 30, and that's for putts. So if you shoot around 70, you're going to have about 30 putts on average every time you play golf, okay? But you're going to have 26 scoring shots, which is basically your shots into the green, okay? So then the one on the far right, it says if you shoot 85, you're going to have 14 drives. If you notice, everyone's going to have 14 drives. You're going to have about 34 putts, okay? But you're going to have 37 scoring shots. So 37 shots into the green. So that's the difference there between shooting 70 and 85. You've got 9 more shots into the green roughly, okay? But then if you shoot 100, all right, 14 drives, we've got 38 putts, all right? So ideally we want to get the putts down to 36 or less. That'd be 2 putting every green, okay? We prefer to get it down, but they say if you shoot 100, you have about 38 putts, and then you're going to have 48 scoring shots, okay? So look at the difference between 100 and 70. We've got, what, 22 more scoring shots in there, okay? So if we can start to eliminate some of those scoring shots and get better at getting on the green faster, we're going to start, our scores are going to start going down, okay? Now, I don't love stats. I think this is pretty cool to look at, but I believe I can hit any shot I want to at any time. So then I kind of throw the stats out the door. But I thought that was kind of interesting. Okay, so look how quickly we can shave strokes off your game. All right, cool. All right, so what we're going to do today, we're borrowing the Dave Pell short game handicapping system. Okay, and what this is, it's a series of like 15 short game shots, all different kinds of shots. Flop shots, sand shots, chip shots, pitch shots, putting, okay? And he gives you a way to score each one, and it gives you your handicap for that particular shot. And then we add them all up, and he's created a cool little diagram here of what the LPGA and the PGA Tour do, and then you can see where your handicap is. And you can get better at specific golf shots, okay? So we are only going to try one of those shots today. I printed off a couple of the extra shots in case you want to try them. But it's again, he's using statistics to create this handicapping system. But I think some people say, oh, I'm a really good chipper. But if I put them like really close to a pin right off the green, they're not really good chippers, right? But maybe they're really good at the long chips, okay? So we're going to start to evaluate where are we strong, where do we need to get better, okay? So I've got those. We're going to hand out in a little bit. Larry's big thing for today, he said, tell them to have loose hands. Make sure they have loose hands on the club, okay? So remember Larry, loose hands. So if I come around and you're strangling it to death, I'm going to say loose hands. So we're actually going to play a little bit this morning, and we're going to use these snag golf clubs. The reason for them, they were designed to help this club head work through impact. Okay, so we're going to hit little chip shots with them, and I know you're like, oh, we're hitting tennis balls with plastic clubs. We are. But what I think is really cool is when you put your hands on here, you're going to feel how this is supposed to work. Okay, so It's going to be fun, and it's going to be colorful, but what I want you to feel is this action right here. And that's what Larry's talking about with loose hands. If you ever use a hammer at home, you don't squeeze the hammer to death. Nice, loose hands on the hammer, okay? If you squeeze it to death, you're like using a hammer like this. And I know it looks silly, but that's what we do when we're squeezing this golf club to death, okay? In our chip shots, we need a really quiet lower body, okay? So we're going to keep our feet pretty close together. The wider we get them, the more likely we're going to move from side to side. Think about all these wedge shots we've hit the last 2 weeks. Same thing, but smaller, okay? So our feet are closer together. Trying to keep my feet right underneath my hips. I'm still going to turn my chest back, but this is where the loose hands come into play. When I turn back, my club gets really high in the air. And it's not because I'm swinging my hands up here. It's because I'm letting my hands hinge, okay? And it gets that club head way up there in the air. And then when I turn through, I don't think about unhinging my hands. Gravity takes over because I've got this loose grip. So I've got a soft grip, gravity takes over, I hit my golf shot, and I turn my chest through a little left of the target, okay? But that's my follow through. It's not way up here, okay? The length of my backswing is going to determine how far my golf ball is going to fly in the air. So if I have got a close shot to me, I've got a short little backswing, but I'm still hinging my hands. Okay, if I've got a longer shot, I've got a bigger backswing, I'm still hinging my hands. So even if it's just like this little 5-foot shot and I'm just right here, I'm still hinging my hands just a little bit. My hands are soft. I've got to get this club vertical. That's the whole idea. This club head has to get vertical. All right? Okay? I think the hard part about chipping is we're trying to control. So grip gets tight. We're trying to force something, so we take a little backswing and then we follow through really hard, and our golf ball goes flying over the green. Okay? Or just the opposite. We take this big backswing and we put the brakes on. Okay? And we think, oh, I hit that too hard or I hit it too soft. Not really. It's just we either accelerated through the shot way too much or we decelerated through the shot. Okay? So, if I was going to toss a ball to Claudia there, all right, I don't really have to think about how hard I'm going to toss it. Okay? So I see her and I just toss it. We got to get that familiar with chipping, where I see where I want to go and I'm just going to swing my club there. It's the same thing. I see my target and I'm going to toss it. I'm not going to take it back real short and go, here you go, Claudia. or back really far and go, there you go. Okay? So it really is simple stuff, but we try to control what we're doing. Any questions?
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So should the ball be kind of midway between both feet, or should you be further back?
This is a favorite question. It depends. So most of the shots we're going to hit today, we're going to play it a little forward, okay, of center. And we're only talking like one golf ball forward of center. So if this golf ball's in my middle, I'm just one forward of it, okay? The grass tells us how to hit the shot. If it's long grass and it's sitting down, we're going to do something a little different than if it's real short grass and it's sitting up high, all right? How far we have to roll the ball matters depending on what club I want to hit. Larry and I like to chip with our sand wedge everywhere, all around the green, okay? Because we've got a lot of control with it. We know how to open it, we know how to shut it down. We can get it to roll, we can get it to go high and not roll, right? We can get it out of holes, we can get it out of real fluffy grass. If you learn how to use your sand wedge, you can use it for everything, all right? Sand wedge, actually every club has something called bounce on the bottom here, all right? The sand wedge is this leading edge here on the sand wedge is built differently than any other club in your bag, all right? It is more rounded in most cases. Some people purposely don't. It's more rounded to get through the sand. This bounce hits off of the hits off the ground, basically, okay? Sometimes we buy sand wedges not knowing that it has too much bounce for us. And what that means is if you're hitting it off of a hardwood floor, that sucker is going to bounce right off that floor and into the back of your golf ball. Sometimes our sand wedges dig too much, and what I mean by that is this edge is really sharp, and it digs into the ground. All right. So here in Ohio, we can get away with a club that bounces a little bit because our ground doesn't get too firm, except for the last 3 weeks. Okay. But if you're in Florida or Texas, somewhere really dry and that ground is firm, I don't want my golf club bouncing because I don't have any control. It's going to hit the ground and it's going to bounce into my ball and who knows where it's going to go. When I'm in Florida or Texas, I want something that digs a little bit most of the time. Depends on where I'm playing. I don't know if you watched golf this weekend, but there was a big thing. I think it was either on golf or I don't know, social media. Tiger changes his wedges every single tournament he plays in. I don't have that luxury, but most golf professionals have multiple wedges that they bring into play depending on the bounce and the golf course they're actually playing. So I think in amateur golf, we don't do enough work understanding what our golf club's trying to do, and we accept what's in our bag instead of, hey, I don't really like the way that club works. Maybe I could get something different that'll help me hit this shot. All right? There's no wrong way to chip. If you want to chip with a 7-iron, I'm okay with it. But let's try our wedges first today, and then you can grab your 7 if you really want to. But again, if we don't give it a shot, we don't know if it'll really work. Okay? So bear with me. But clubs can get so confusing, but they can do so many different things too. Larry's really the club guy, so if we have really specific questions, we'll probably bring him into that conversation next week. Any other general questions about golf clubs? Yeah. Yeah.
Between the pitching iron and the sandwich, how much difference is there between those two?
Yeah. So the loft is about probably 48 degrees on your pitching wedge. Your sandwich has about 56 degrees of loft. So you've got that difference in loft, which is going to allow you to hit the golf ball higher. But because the pitching wedge has less loft, it's going to roll more. Okay? Yeah. So I just had a discussion with a student. She has a sand wedge that has 56 degrees of loft, but she doesn't like the way it looks. What she sees is that it looks like it's facing the sky a lot and that it's like pointing to the right. Okay? But I told her my sand wedge is 54 degrees of loft and it sits more this way and it doesn't feel open to me. So it could be the manufacturer or the amount of loft on your wedge that you don't care for when you look at it. Okay? Or maybe there's something better. Alright? Yeah.
So I only use my sand wedge. Is that bad?
No, it's not bad. No, there's no right or wrong. I only use my sand wedge. Yeah. When Larry goes to hit a shot near the green, he'll take 3 wedges just in case the sand wedge isn't the one he wants to use, but oftentimes he does want to use the sand wedge. Just depends on the why. I know that's so hard because I can't draw it out black and white. Okay, this is when you use this and this when you, this is the creative part. This is when Pat gets to be Pat. And she gets to decide like, hey, I see this kind of shot, so I'm going to use this club. I see my chip shots going high. Larry sees his kind of more of a middle trajectory. Some of you might see your chip shots going low, and that's okay. There's no right or wrong. But you got to let me know so I can help coach you in the right direction. Yeah, sir, don't.
So I have a 60-degree club.
Mhm.
Should I use that today instead of the sand?
What all did you bring with you?
I got a sand wedge and I have a 60-degree.
I would play around with both of them.
Okay.
Larry right now is chipping everything with his 58. Okay, which is, you can consider it a sand wedge, but it's closer to a lob wedge.
Yeah.
You can call it whatever you want. But just play with both of them. See if you like, so your 50, your sand wedge is going to get more rollout. Your 58 shouldn't roll out so much. Alright, but if you're in deep, deep grass, so understand, deep grass, it grabs the hosel right here of the club. That's what it does. The more loft the club has, the less the grass is going to grab the hosel. So if you're in deep grass, you might want to hit that 58. You might. Again, this is where we have to put the time in, practicing and playing and saying, oh, what if I hit it from right here? What is it going to do? Okay? There's just no black and white. But I love that because then you get to be you. Alright? I can coach you in a direction, but it's your eyeballs. Yeah.
How do you know your loft? Does it say it on there?
Yours does not. I'm just speaking in generalities. Let me see what brand you got. Okay. So, if your wedge your sandwich does not say, has a loft on it, it's most likely 56 degrees. That's standard across the industry. Mine says 54, but it's technically bent to 55. So if you look at my wedge, you don't even know because it's actually been bent to have one more degree of loft on it. These are all good questions. I know it shouldn't be that hard, huh? So when we get out there, your job is to play around. Just play around. Quiet legs. This club has to get up. And we do it with soft hands. Really soft hands. We often practice with one hand only. We might hit chip shots with our right hand only, and then we might go and we might hit chip shots with our left hand only. And all we're doing is trying to feel that club head. Where is it going to hit the bottom? How can I get to my golf ball? We're just trying to feel. Alright? But it's kind of a simple motion. Feet are quiet. We hinge back. We turn through. It's not a huge arm motion. We're not jumpy. We're trying to be quiet. Nice, even tempo.
So I have a question. So if you're actually hitting out of the sand,
Yeah.
like I said, I've got a 60 degree. Is there any reason I would want to use my sandwich or 60? I mean, would it make?
Depends where the flag is, maybe.
Okay.
So let's say the flag is far away from you.
Yeah.
You might want to use your 56 because it'll go a little farther than your
Okay.
60.
Gotcha.
Or if I've got a really close sand shot right here and I just need to get it out of the bunker because the hole is right in front of me, maybe I want to use 60 then. Quality of the sand. See, there is not one sand. Sometimes it's like concrete. Sometimes it is really dry and fluffy. Sometimes it just rained or the sprinklers went on. Yeah. We played a golf course last week. They're redoing their bunkers. So 5 or 6 of the bunkers are different than the rest of the golf course because they're in the process of redoing. And that's okay. You just have to know what you're stepping into. Cool thing about bunkers though, you can't really test the sand, but when you get there with your feet, feel what's underneath. Does it feel fluffy when you step in, or does it feel firm when you step in? Okay? Feel it. Just like greens, when we walk up onto a green, feel it. What does it feel like? Is it firm on the green? If it's firm, I might not want to hit my pitching wedge because that golf ball is going to take off. If it's soft, okay, maybe I'll hit pitching wedge because my golf ball won't hit and fly away from me. When I chip, I walk up to every hole. So my ball's here, maybe Dawn is the hole. I'm walking over here, I'm feeling with my feet. What does it feel like? Is it firm? Is it soft? Is it wet? Okay, I'm counting. So I know in my head, if I've got a 25-yard chip shot, I know how far back I tend to bring my golf club. So I'm counting, I'm getting a number. I'm also looking, where do I want to land this golf ball? If I land it right at Dawn, my golf ball's out of the building. It's going to roll. But if Dawn's my target, I might want to land my shot right here so that I can let the golf ball roll to Dawn. Alright? Sometimes just getting the golf ball on the green is better than not getting it on the green in your first shot. So sometimes our goal is just get this golf ball on the green no matter where it is. And then we can get better at being more precise of where we want it on the green. But if I have to chip 2 or 3 times, that's adding up to my shooting over 100. Okay, so like bunker shots on, sometimes we're in a place where, man, just get this out of the bunker and get it on the green somewhere, and I can deal with the putt. Okay, so sometimes I think we get too caught up in being so precise on where our target is that we lose sight of, what am I really trying to do? I really just need to get this out of the bunker. I really just need to get this on the green. And then I'll deal with the rest. Unless you really hate putting, and then that's a whole nother story, right? Great. Questions? No? Okay. So we're gonna go be playful. We're gonna play with tennis balls and plastic clubs for just a little bit, because I want you to feel this. The way they design these clubs is pretty cool. And they do have adult sets. We just have a junior set with us. So Dawn, the clubs are gonna be a little short. But that's okay. I've got the ball teed up for you, so you don't have to reach down too much. But these are pretty, the engineering in this stuff was pretty cool. So I just want you to just experiment with it, feel it, okay? All right, questions, we good? Okay, so let me hand out before we get too far. And there's no good way, so there, I've got 5 stacks, and I'm just gonna start pass them around. And we're just gonna do the one that's titled long chip shot today. Alright, so, the other 2 you can just kinda keep in your record books there for when we get them.